Constitution 1-5 Constitution 1-5 10th May 2022 10th May 2022 Quran, a constitution for global village. Quran, a constitution for global village. Statute 3.1 Statute 3.1 Unless one is blinkered, it is quite glaring that all injunctions, orders, directions of Quran and Sunnah are geared to the benefit, comfort, happiness, and well-being of the entire humanity in this world. And not only that, adherence to these injunctions of Quran and Sunnah for the pleasure of Allah alone will carry a manifold reward in the eternal life of the mankind hereafter as well. Thus, the all-merciful Allah benefits the mankind twofold, here as well as the hereafter. The Quran adheres to this pattern in all its revelations. 1. The Quran fixes the aim, the target, and the objective first. 2. Then motivates the mankind, giving out the advantages, benefits of achieving that objective. 3. Thereafter elaborates various methods and modus operandi of achieving these objectives in the form of rules, regulations, laws, etc. 4. And finally, the Quran lays down the punishment for those who disobey, transcend the laws laid out by Allah, Quran, and gives out the reward for those who obey. For example, 1. Quran desires the mankind to procreate and every family to have a pure, clean lineage, unlike animals, pigs, dogs, etc. in particular. And the 2-bit voluptuaries addicted to luxury, sensual pleasures, who have made themselves undeclared gods by declaring I repeat again, and the 2-bit voluptuaries addicted to luxury, sensual pleasures, who have made themselves undeclared gods by declaring, pontificating the right and wrong against the values ordered by Allah and the Prophet. They must not forget, Allah created you, O man, initially from cheap clay, Adam. Thereafter, every individual from a dirty drop of semen. Then he made you couples, spouses, man and woman. That procreation continues till the doomsday. And He, Allah, knows well in advance what's to happen. No family conceives nor gives birth without His knowledge and preference. And He controls life and death. No person advances in age or has his life cut off. But no person advances in age or has his life cut off. He controls life and death. But people haggle about the cause and effect, whether change is taken as a direct action in recreating the atoms in different states of instantaneous being, or every change as a succession of events with no secondary causality. Allah is the prime and only cause of all that takes place. All is saved in a book metaphorically. And it is all extremely easy for Allah. Allah has raised mankind and structured the human society on couples, spouses, man and woman, bounded as husband and wife. Idea fixe of the 20th century regarding liberty, freedom, the rights of the individuals, the right to do whatever one likes with one's own body, secular values and lifestyles, totally secular worldly orientation of living, resulted in millions of men and women clamber out of the strewn wreckage of their marriages. So, divorce, separation, single parent houses, and other forms of familiar disaster overtook millions in a process of a few decades. The modern society thus reeks with the adverse effects of these malaproposed combinations like lesbians, gays, open marriages, single parent houses, where the husbands keep changing rounds, precisely like animals, dogs, tomcats, and pigs. Now, as per official record of the BBC, 85% women in UK and USA and France are raped every year. As per official record of the BBC, 85% women are in UK, USA and France are raped every year. Without looking into the actual causes, that is lack of spiritual recourse and godlessness, malcontent, dejected, frustrated, and lonely and rebellious people in millions initiated the traumatic process of changing the social sphere and dashed to find shelter, solace, peace in all sorts of experiments, that is, nefarious, malodorous combinations, equations of living, other than as devoted, committed, and responsible husbands and wives. Apart from lesbians, gays, these included unmarried couples. The absolute ruination, paralysis, ineffable failure of the modern social sphere is demonstrated, can be seen in the incredible proportion of single-parent families. On the average, as of 2002 AD, more than 80% children in USA, UK, Europe are living in single-parent families. The Western society is reeking with the adverse, ghastly psychosocial effects of these pathetic combinations. Social phobia is the outcome of breaking up of the nuclear family, that is, husband, wife, and 2 children. Not only have the human beings been created as couples, there are the opposites in every creation of Allah. There are women who don't conceive, and those who conceive, those who deliver, and those who cannot, the long-living and the short-living man, and other animate objects, the sweet water and the brackish, things which sink and those which float, the night and the day, and so is the good and the evil, and so is the good and the evil. Piety that leads to the pleasure of Allah and to heaven, and disobedience, transgression that earns His wrath and leads to hell. Piety that leads to the pleasure of Allah and to heaven, and disobedience, transgression that earns Allah's wrath and leads to hell. Allah alone has created you, and it is Him alone who is worthy of worship, obedience. The others, whom the disbelievers, mushrikeen, polytheists invoke for help, haven't created anything at all, not even a membrane of a date stone. They can't hear your prayers, and if they do, they can't be of any assistance at all. All your demigods and demigods will disavow your shirk, polytheism on the doomsday, and none would elaborate things to forewarn you as Allah has. The bloody-minded people must understand, accept the reality, the truth that they are totally dependent on Allah, and Allah is absolutely free of all needs, doesn't require anything from them. And don't consider yourself to be powerful or indispensable. Allah can lift off the entire mankind and replace it with a new creation, which will be obedient as the angels. But He permits the good and the evil and the mankind capable of both to exist, that people obey Him voluntarily and to reward or punish them as per their deeds. That the disbelievers, guzzling, sinful, flee the word of Allah and disobey Him blatantly all their lives, and yet appear to flourish and thrive, doesn't bother the knowledgeable at all. That was Surah 35 Al-Fatir, verse 11. And let not the disbelievers live with false and distorted perceptions that the world is a hugger-mugger, a bedlam, and there's none to grip them, and they can live an unmolested, visceral life, because if Allah prefers, He can remove you from the face of the earth, eliminate the mankind, or put it at a backstage, and establish another Genesis, excellent and perfect in obedience as the angels. That's all for today. Please pray for me, ex-brigadier